This illustration from 1874 shows a scene of extreme danger. Who are these people, and how did they get into this situation? In the lower left and center, frontiersmen crouch behind mules that are laying on the ground and taking hits from arrows, while the men fire rifles over the saddles. In the center left, a small army of Native Americans push forward against the rifle fire from the frontiersmen. And in the lower right, two women crouch behind a barricade of suitcases as the shootout rages in front of them. The illustration is titled Novel Barricade, meaning the wall of luggage protecting the women. It comes from the 1874 book Wildlife in the Far West. Personal Adventures of a Border Mountain Man by Captain James Hobbs. Let's read through what the book has to say. And to help visualize the story, we'll look at and talk about the 1912 movie The Massacre, directed by D.W. Griffith. I was sent to one of the company's mines at Buenos Aires with a pack train of 10 mules, besides 7 mounted friends to assist me and for protection. Our business was to get an English lady and her daughter with their baggage and bring them to Durango, where her husband was awaiting her. Who were these women? Unfortunately, we'll only come to know them by their husband and father's last name. And who is the man given this important task? The book includes an illustration titled Author as a Comanche, and he introduces himself by saying, I was born in 1819 in the Shawnee Nation, now better known as Jackson County, Missouri. The 1907 book, The Great Plains, The Romance of Western American Exploration, Warfare, and Settlement, describes him as follows. James Hobbs had a remarkable career during his long life on the frontier. He was for years a prisoner among the Indians, a soldier in the war with Mexico, an officer in the revolt against Maximilian, an Indian fighter, miner, trapper, trader, and government scout. So what happened to the supply train? On our return from the mine to Durango, while we were crossing a plain, where there was no shelter of any kind for the ladies, we were attacked by about 40 Apaches. Why were they attacked? In the movie, we get a George Custer-like instigator, who leads an attack on an unsuspecting Native American village, which provokes a counterattack on the same cavalry officer leading the wagon train. But in our story from the book, it seems to be just another conflict based on the ongoing competition for land and resources. We saw the Indians coming towards us when they were quite a distance away, and as we had no natural shelter, it became necessary to devise an artificial one. The baggage was hastily removed from the mules when they were cast and their feet securely tied. This served a double purpose, as it effectually prevented a stampede, and enabled us to use them for purposes of shelter. The cast mules and baggage were arranged in a circle, within which we placed ourselves, and behind this novel breastwork we awaited the attack of the Indians. In the movie, some of the riders tried to escape and rode straight into a side ambush. The survivors regrouped and dismounted, as described in this chapter card. But they had no time to circle the wagons, did not lay down their horses, did not stack the baggage, and were quickly surrounded. Some of them did not seem to be taking the danger seriously, while a terrified mother holds her baby in the center of the circle. This poster from the movie shows how badly the battle went for them, with the dead and wounded piling up. In the final devastating shootout, only a pile of bodies remain. And I wonder if the massacre in the movie is a fictional cinematic revenge for the real attack by George Custer on an Indian village by the Washita River. In the movie, when the United States cavalry comes to the rescue too late, they are shocked to find the woman and her baby alive under the pile. Terrified and traumatized, but safe. So how did it go for Captain Hobbs and the 2 women under his protection? When they charged upon us, they were entirely exposed to our fire, while we, by keeping close to the mules and baggage, could not be harmed by their arrows. When they came within range, we opened fire on them, and killed several, besides wounding some of their animals, when they retreated, carrying their dead and wounded with them. None of our party were injured, but we had 2 mules killed. Our singular breastwork had saved our lives. And we resumed our journey and arrived safely at Durango. The lady's husband, Mr. McIntyre, gave us a hearty reception, and was much astonished to hear of our perilous adventure with the Indians. He said he never would have thought of such a means of defense, and I hardly think he would, for he was an assayer at the Mint and did not know anything about fighting Indians. But he did know how to order a splendid supper for us. And he afterwards made me a present of $500, saying he considered he was indebted to me for the preservation of the lives of his wife and daughter. That would be more than 15,000 in today's dollars, though it's hard to put a price on your family's lives. We can be glad to know Mrs. and Miss McIntyre lived to tell the tale. And the family was reunited. If only the women had published their story for all to read. Thank you for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to this channel for new videos every week or two, and see the description below for a list of books and films featured in this video.